Welcome to Wine and
Cheese
with Jeff Weisler
and McKenzie.
Hi, Beverly.
Hey, Jeff. What's going
Good
on
to
today?
see you.
Same here.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to this.
I know, me too. This is exciting. We have Evening Land Pinot Noir.
Yay!
You might not know how exciting that is. We're excited.
Two wine geeks jumping up and down just to get a taste of this wine. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, when I stick my nose in this, the word that comes to mind is inspired.
Yeah, you did say something like that, didn't you?
It actually really takes me on a journey right out of the gate that's inspirational. And I think this is one of the reasons I'm into wine.
Totally. It's not necessarily otherworldly, but it's because it's grounded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And its depth of aromas and flavors. It's got integrity.
Yeah.
And I think you and I tried to explain something to somebody before. And they said, well, why is this exciting? And we said, because it's actually not missing things. We taste so many wines that are flawed or missing things, and this one's... Yeah.
Oh, this one's...
It's exploding with things that you're going to tell me what that is.
Maybe. It's just it's honest. I mean, I stick my nose in it, and the first thing it's that feeling when you meet something that's authentic. You just know it's authentic, it's honest, it's real. This really feels like natural winemaking. Like the place really, that the grapes are grown, really lives in this. And it's settled in this in a way so that there's an ease about the wine. So in its expressiveness, it doesn't feel hurried or like it's trying to accomplish anything. It feels like it's just really resting in what it is.
It's present.
And makes it, it's present. And present, it's a gift.
And you visited this winery too as well, haven't you?
Yes, and they have great biodiversity. This is from Seven Springs Vineyard, from Evening Land Winery in the Aola Hills. In Oregon. It's just outside of the Salem area, and there is wonderful biodiversity on this property. There's actually, you can go on a little hike right to the edge of the property, and there's a beautiful waterfall down there.
Oh, that sounds great.
So there's lots of stuff going on. The approach that's really specifically aligned with conscious wine. There is Dominique Lafont, an absolutely extraordinary producer of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from the Burgundy region of France, is one of the folks that are part of this project, and it's a project that we're really excited to know exists these days. And having said that, you need to taste the wine. So
we might not get to that. We might just keep smelling this for the rest of the day. I gotta take my glasses off for this. Oh yeah.
Wow, it's just bursting in the mouth. What's great is a combination of two elements to me blended together. One is the way it feels constrained, held together, beautifully structured, and then within those within those limits, within those boundaries, it then bursts. It then comes up and offers like riding the waves.
You know, and I think I'm finding interesting is it's not so important the exact flavors we're getting.
Yeah.
You and I are not talking about what berry fruits or what this and that.
Exactly.
Because we don't feel like we have to search for anything. Because it's so balanced and has such a good set of shoulders and a strong back and, firm legs. It doesn't need us to be analyzing it. It's just, it's there. It's present. Totally.
And it's absolutely saying, give me food. So speaking of that.
We just happen to have this Comte here. So, Jeff, did you know that Comte was actually, it's also known as, this part of this AOC, Gruyere de Comte. Well, so there was this time when Switzerland and France were still just one genre. Some people believe in Pangea, and in essence it could be true, but more minute than that, just Switzerland and France didn't have these big borders. And so you have the Comte, which is, they've been making this cheese for like 800 years, for like 8 centuries. And it is a hard cheese, it's a washed rind, and so it's talking about weight and pairing. So this is a medium-bodied wine approximately. This is a hard cheese, but with more of a nutty, medium weight palate. So it's not a dense, rich, creamy cheese. And what's really interesting, we're talking about terroir and sense of place, because just like with wine, the French have appellation origin contrôlée with cheese as well. This has to come from a very specific place, it happens to be quite large though, that spans from the Jura, the Doubs, and the Rhone Alps. So very mountainous.
So that's
areas.
we're talking about the eastern side of France.
Correct.
towards the mountains, heading up into the mountains, the hills of Jura.
Correct.
And then we're going over into the Alps and into the mountains in Switzerland.
Exactly.
And just go back to one thing, AOC, little descriptor
Appellation
of
Origin
AOC.
de Contrôle, which basically is these boards that are designed to create criteria as far as ingredients, how things are done, and where these foods come from, and how they're managed. So just like wine. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we look at a wine or a cheese that one of the ways we know from France is when there is an appellation contrôlée, an AOC, on the label or on the package. What we know is that sense of place or a specific place is part of what's behind creating that product.
Bingo.
Okay.
So we were talking about these steep mountainous areas. That's what these cows graze on, and you're only allowed, so going back to rules and restrictions, you're only allowed 2 types of cows to make Comte. One of which, the most important one, like 95% of the herds are from Montbéliard. My French isn't perfect, but Montbéliard. It's like 95% of the herds that make Comte, and it makes this very sweet milk.
Okay.
Because that's what it's all about. And as you wash the rind, you let it age, it develops this lovely nuttiness. But maybe we should figure out what that means. We should taste this cheese.
I'm like, if I have to wait 5 more seconds before I
can
taste
see you
cheese and
chomping at
wine,
the bit.
I'm gonna jump.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna smell this while I'm eating at the same time.
I'm gonna have 2 of these
Because it's so mild, but there's like a little. You can smell some butter. You can smell some nuts.
So one of the things here that's really interesting to me is Pinot Noir being a mid-weight wine, slightly lighter but mid-weight in general. Yeah. This cheese is kind of in that land between a soft cheese and a hard cheese. It's not actually either. So it sort of fits that middle dynamic. So from a pairing wine and food point of view, we're talking about one of the key ingredients being to match the weight. Right. So in this case, from tasting this right out of the gate and having tasted this already, this feels like a nice pairing of the weight between the wine and the cheese.
Good puzzle pieces for each other. Absolutely.
And I'm going to have another piece.
I'm just going to keep eating this cheese. Not that we don't. It's because we're afraid to go back to the wine. Because we might not come back.
And also, the impression the wine gave was so strong, and just from a sensory point of view, really just took us on a journey that a few pieces of this cheese feels almost required at this point to kind of get that feeling of the cheese to then bring, present, to then bring the wine back to that and see how.
Like we're recalibrating ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, more cheese? Okay.
Ready?
I don't know.
Here we go.
All right. Oh, and so actually, just by having that cheese, I smell more of the fruit.
Yeah.
And a little bit of, not necessarily mint, but something herbal like that as well that I did not get before.
Very distinctive point that I get here is that the wine, smelling the wine now, because of the nature of the cheese, it actually brought the fruitiness of the wine out. So very interesting wine and pairing tip is when you have a wine that tastes fairly earthy, if you have a food that's fairly earthy, and you get that flavor in your mouth, it will then, if you then go back to the wine, it'll then make the wine taste fruitier. So it'll help bring the natural fruit that's in the wine out. So, and that's showing up just on the nose here, just on the aroma.
Beautifully, I might add.
Wow. Totally, to me, just seamless.
Seamless.
Singing
raspberry fruit.
Brings it together, brings the fruitiness out, seamless. And this beautiful acidity in the wine then goes zing, which sort of sets you up for wanting more. So, excuse us, but we're going to go drink a lot of wine.
See you later.
And have a lot of cheese right now.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.